Alrighty, we've got the last starter deck to go over for the limited deck battle format, and I hope you enjoy my little picks, and I'll, tell you a little bit how I, feel about playing the deck in general. So, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you there. Welcome back, crewmates, to the Tabletop Pirates. Today we're going over the last of the decks for the limited deck battle format. So here we have the basic starter deck, and this is the little promo list. So first thing I just want to talk about is the promo, which I do enjoy. He's a 3 cost with 4k, and he gains double attack. So when he deals damage, he does 2 damage instead of 1 damage. And that costs 2 Dawn, so he's a 6k with his ability active. But you normally kind of just want to pump him up a little bit more than that, reaching the 7 or 8k number, and he's pretty threatening, because he does have synergy with a lot of the cards in the deck because he is a supernova. So this is one promo that I would not sleep on in the green deck, that is for sure. We're going over to the basic list without any alterations to it. I just want to go ahead and point out that I did take out Scalpel, which is the cost 1, give you 2k, and then you switch one active. And I pretty much took out Beppo, better cards to play, and Kobe is pretty much removed from the list as well. The rest of the cards, I upped the ratios and kept going into the change deck. I went ahead and updated the Big Kid to 3 copies. He's a really good blocker. But while playing with the deck, he's really not like the end-all be-all. With multiple copies of a lot of these cards, it ends up being more of a combo deck. More than anything else, a lot of 2-card combos involving this super rare, the Law. Now that he's at 4 copies in the deck, you can see him a lot more reliably. You can also get him with the Bonnie, and he allows you to restand any cost 5 or less supernova. So he combos really well with a lot of the cards in the deck, including the promo that we just talked about that deals 2 damage. So if you go ahead, and he costs 5, so let's make sure that this is, a reliable thing that you can do. You put about 3 Dawn under the Kid promo, and then you use 5 Dawn for this Law. So at a reasonable amount of 8 Dawn for this combo, you can swing twice with an 8,000 that has double breaker. So he'll do 2 damage instead of 1. So you're threatening 4 damage with 2 attacks with the same card, which isn't too shabby. The Law also works with the Hawkins, which can restand himself, so you can actually just attack 3 times with this guy. You put, 2 Dawn under him, and he's an 8k that you can swing multiple times with. The Law works with this X-Drake, which boosts all of your Marines and Supernovas by 1,000. When he's rested, he works with the promo. He also works with Killer, although this is probably the worst card to actually restand because it takes a lot of investment to make this guy bigger. But if push comes to shove and he gets summoned, played off of damage, and you have a Law in hand, you could swing twice. Be careful, he does not work with Vito. It's a fire tank pirate. He does not work with Pete. He does not work with Kobe, so that's why I took it out. He does work with Apu, but he's a 2k guard and his effect is kind of booty, so you never really play this card. You just keep it in hand. He does work with Rogue, which I did boost up to 4. This isn't a very terrible card, especially when you're saying, am I playing 4 of this over vanillas? You just play Rogue anyway. But as a standalone card, he's a card you can play really early. He has guard, so playing all 4 of it doesn't matter. And making him a 2-drop 5k is not terrible. I mean, technically, he's like a 2-drop 6k, because to use his ability at all, you need a Dawn under him. He's going to go up to 5k with his ability, and then the Dawn gives him 6k. This does count on the opponent's turn, just like the Zoro in red. So if you have 3 more characters, he will be a 5k. But early game, I do like playing a lot of these Urogs. They actually apply a decent amount of pressure. Of course, we keep the 4 Beige, Capone, and the 4 Bonnie, which searches pretty much everything in your deck, which makes the Law plays a lot more consistent. Which is why I said that the deck really doesn't focus around this blocker, per se. It's a good standalone card. But it doesn't, work well with others. You can get it off of the Bonnie, but it's kind of just, a one-man army type of card. Whereas the Law has a lot of potential to really combo you get a lot more value out of cards that already are pretty good stat-wise. So we did up the Hawkins to 3. It doesn't have guards, so I didn't really want to go in full in with 4 of it. It's easy to get because of the Bonnie and everything, and he does cost 5. So he's actually kind of a commitment to the board. I found myself playing a lot of the little drops, more than the big drops per se, when I'm playing the deck, just to pressure fast, especially this promo, which we're playing 3 of. I would easily consider playing this at 4, because it does have guard. There's no reason not to. I would definitely take out probably just another veto for the kid. The reason I'm testing 3 of it is because I do not have 4 of it, and I only had access to 3 of them, so that's what I'm testing with right now. But if you have access to 4 of this, I would just say take out a veto and go ahead and put the 4th one in. No big deal, right? This gives you access to the Law Kid combo even more, and the veto has absolutely no synergy with the deck whatsoever. So there's not even a reason to be like, oh, why would I just... Oh, he has 1,000 more, who cares? So I upped the Straw Sword to 3. Why did I up the Straw Sword to 3? This is actually your only out against Sentomaru in the blue deck. So I really was thinking specifically about that matchup when it comes to Straw Sword. It has more potential just for blockers in general. And if they're setting up an attacker that you don't want to see, you can try and pressure it really fast. But it's mostly for that Sentomaru that's going to sit there in the active and try and play all the pacifistas. This is the only out in green that can deal with an active Sentomaru. So you rest him and then you swing into him. And then I went down to 3 repels because I really don't want to clog my hand with all these counter cards. I'd rather have more offense than defense. If I just have like 2 or 3 counters in my hand, I don't have enough attackers, what's the point? If I'm just defending myself, I'm not going to be able to pressure the opponent back. So I went down to 3 repel. And, I personally just don't think you need too many counters, especially 2-cost counters, because the more counters you have in your hand, the more often you're going to need to leave 2 up on the opponent just so they're not dead. And the more turns that you leave Dawn up during the end of your turn, that's equals to that much less pressure that you can put on the opponent because you're leaving up all of this Dawn that could have been more damage. So if you have a repel in your hand every turn, and you're leaving 2 up every turn, over the course of the game, that multiplies the amount of thousands that you could have just put on your guys to pressure the opponent, which ultimately could have won you the game. So while the defense is good, you don't want to overdo the defense. Kind of just my thought process on that. So my take on this deck is this Law is extremely good. It allows you to use your one attacker you've established multiple times over the course of a turn to really get value out of it. And it's especially dangerous when you're investing a lot into the promo kid so that you can deal a lot of damage really quickly. Because when you get your opponent down really fast, that's when the leader himself really comes up to the stage and goes, oh, you only have like 1 life. This leader can swing at you 12 twice. And that's very dangerous if your opponent doesn't have ready access to blockers. And the most blockers you can pretty much play in this format is 8 in any respective color, except for blue, which can play, the big crocodile. But that's a big investment in itself. If your opponent's playing a lot of those crocodiles, they don't have guard, they have to pay 5 to play them. That's a whole nother ball game in itself. But this kid, the promo kid, pressures the damage early and all in one swoop. And if you're comboing it with the Law, you can potentially get 4 damage in off this 1 card. And that's a lot of ground your opponent's going to have to catch up on because of the leader threatening game on the following turn. After your initial investment of Dawn for this play, because it's going to take about 8 to 9 Dawn to really make this go in, because you're going to have to make him like an 8 or 9k, and then, pay 5 for the Law. So you're going to need to make a very big investment for that turn, but if you connect with it, I think it's worth it in the long run. But yeah, the green deck's looking powerful. I think all of the decks, desperately needed the upgrade and just the flexibility of things. Green was easily the most consistent deck before you got to mess with it because of the Bonnie and things. But afterwards, I think it's a lot more balanced because the other decks that were lacking in consistency gained consistency back. by just having more copies of the cards you wanted to see in general. So that's, it's not super complicated. Just go over a little bit of my changes and why I made them and maybe how you want to do things with the deck and all that. But go ahead and let me know what's your favorite deck now, like if maybe it changed, or what do you like best in the limited deck battle format when you can finally actually put two starter decks together. And the promos did change some things. I definitely think it wasn't balanced as far as the promo cards go. I think, the purple Kaido is, not really part of the purple deck. You pretty much build for the promo if you wanted to play it. And then the blue Crocodile promo is kind of like iffy at best. But I think the red and the green promo really shine as the cards you just want to include in your deck no matter what. So there was some balancing issues there, where, green and red kind of have an extra card to play with, where blue and purple is like, eh. But, let me know what your favorite color is in the current limited deck battle format. And the tournaments, are coming up relatively soon in the next week or so. Filming this on, the 25th of October. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.